I, 32F, broke up with my boyfriend, 40M, over housework. For context, I am 32F, my boyfriend is 40M, and we have been together for a year and a half and lived together. Yesterday he got home at 3 p.m. after work in the gym and was watching TV. I finished work at 4 p.m., did our grocery shopping, got home, prepared our dinner and then cleaned up the dishes and started preparing food for a dinner we were supposed to go to today. I very calmly asked him at this point why he didn't help me with the dishes, since I cooked, and his response was, "You should have asked me to help," which irritated me. I was like, I shouldn't ask you to help with the housework, we're both adults. And then he goes, I helped to prepare breakfast and lunch today, and I'm just like, are you fucking serious? You put some chia seeds to soak and put the vegetables that I had already cut and prepared to steam. You want a fucking gold star for this? Like, am I being too harsh? Obviously this part was in my head, so I told him, all you have to do is apologize and this conversation will end. And he's like, I didn't hurt you intentionally, so I should need to apologize, WHAAATT? Since when do apologies work like this? In any case, I got a glimpse into my future, cause this is not the first time a conversation like this has taken place, and today I just told him that I'm not interested in being his maid and that I was done. You were doomed the moment you agreed that he was helping you. That means all of this work is your job and responsibility, and anything he does is him being a good guy and doing your job for you. Good that you broke up, did you? Next, relationships start with the premise that there are X amount of chores, and your job is 1/2 X and his job is 1/2 X. Neither of you is helping each other by doing your chores. You are doing your own jobs. I never get why where is an idea of helping with chores. Toddler can help put dishes, adults do their half whatever agreed on without need to ask. And decent adult would offer help if partner doing something. Good luck, you did the right thing. Adults don't help their partner with housework, they do their half. God forbid you had children with this man-child. There's a reason women his own age won't date him. Smart move, you don't need to house train your partner. Most people are ignoring the fact that the only hurtful thing you said wasn't actually said out loud, LMAO. It seems like this is a recurring issue, so I think you did the right thing. Maybe he'll fix it, maybe he won't. I was just telling my oldest son yesterday, if there isn't anything else he learns from me as his mom, to please not be that guy who doesn't help out around the home when he one day moves into his own place and or gets married, has a relationship with someone. Because no adult should have to clean up after another one, and it's an easy way to have someone harbor resentment against you. All this to say you were right to break up with your BF. He's 40 years old and still acting like he's 12. You don't need that in your life. My 19F girlfriend wants me, 23M, to call her mommy? So I have met this girl of mine almost 5 months ago, and ever since we had a wonderful relationship, though from the start she wanted me to call her mommy, especially when we had sex, and she also likes to be on top and in control, not only in bed but almost always. I was actually fine with this and enjoying it. It's worth mentioning she is kind of a goth girl. But anyway, we were French kissing the other day and suddenly out of nowhere she backs up, slaps me in the face so hard and leans forward to kiss my face and continue what we were doing, so I guess she is into BDSM stuff. IDK man, it was kinda hot, but it also scared the shit out of me, so yeah, I need some advice. Check any BDSM communities, because A, they will have more tailored advice, and B, your girlfriend needs to learn about consent. You cannot just slap your partner without agreeing to it ahead of time, that is an assault. I don't care how kinky she is, consent is important there. Nothing is weird about wanting those things or finding them attractive, but she should communicate to you what she wants instead of randomly slapping you. You didn't consent to that. This is a fetish post, why mention that she was goth? Her slapping you is not appropriate or in line with those familiar with safe BDSM practices. You posting only this in several places sets off a lot of red flags. This is a humble brag fetish post. If it's true though, enjoy it, because sexually dominant women are rare. Consent bud. I'd be scared as hell and confused if my girlfriend slaps my face and keeps kissing me. IDK if it's a kink? Or anything, but talk to her about it and put some boundaries. Guys always want hot goth girlfriends and then can't handle them not being vanilla. 35F married to 36M for 3 months. Husband suddenly criticizing and demeaning me. How do I cope? I, 35F, have been married to my husband, 36M, for 3 months. We have been together for 2 years and got married last May. I moved to live with him in the UK, and I'm still looking for a job while settling. We've been living together in the same house here for 2 months and 20 days after marriage. Since before we got married, he always praised me, saying I'm smart, that I do things in the best way, that the food I cook is amazing, etc. But about a week ago, he suddenly snapped at me. He said he has been ashamed of how the house looks, saying he works all day and comes home to a messy place. which doesn't look messy to me and he never thought it was before. Since then, every day for the past week, he has been saying really mean things to me, about my family, calling me manipulative, liar, entitled, and saying my contribution to the marriage is nothing. He says he's resentful of my entitlement to his time, money, and resources, and that I should be ashamed of myself. During these past months here, I also went through a miscarriage, which makes everything harder. I'm on a dependent visa, and I feel like I made the biggest mistake of my life. What confuses me is that after all these hurtful things, he also says, "Of course I love you," and that he just needed to express his feelings, and that every couple goes through hardships. I feel isolated, ashamed to talk about this with anyone, and stuck in a new country. My question: what coping strategies or techniques can I use to handle this sudden change in his behavior? And how do I know if this is just a temporary rough patch or if I should take this as a serious red flag about my marriage? Congratulations, you just met the man you married. Abusers usually drop the mask once they've got you barefoot and pregnant. You're isolated, have no resources, and nowhere to go, in his mind. Get out before you can't anymore. Trust me. Now that he has you isolated and legally locked down, your abuser is dropping his mask and starting to show you who he really is. And he is testing what you are willing to endure and what not, checking if some empty words of, "I love you," will be enough to make you excuse the abuse. Because verbal abuse is abuse, he is putting you through. And so far, it seems so. I mean, you're not asking here on how to get out, but on how to cope with his behavior. No consequences, just letting him push you around like he wants to while you learn to cope. You are already stuck in the cycle of abuse by asking about coping strategies. It's gonna get worse. It always does. This is very common. A lot of abused women report being hit for the first time on their wedding night. Please contact a domestic violence line and see she help there is for you. I'm so sorry. I was also married to an abuser in a foreign country. It was very isolating, but I finally got out and I'm living an amazing life. He trapped you. He's resentful you can't work until you get your more permanent papers in his country, and thought he'd get a bangmaid who would do all his chores and cook for him like a mommy until you could work, and by then he'd expect you to still do all of that while also working. He made you dependent on him and trapped you. Move home before he baby traps you. Him being nice to you was a lie. How else was he gonna get you to uproot your life and become dependent on him? Call Samaritans on 116 118. They're open 24/7. They should be able to help you. Please don't have kids with this monster. Edit. They're free to call as well. My 30M husband and I 28 are so different I think divorce is inevitable? So for context, my husband and I have been together for 10 years. I knew from the beginning that we had our differences and honestly just think it's getting too much for us to stay together. Example. I'm much more liberal than he is, and he is what I would consider more of a conservative Christian and has become more so the longer we have been together, which has been disappointing. So obviously the political climate is something I can hardly stand to talk with him about. Even if he doesn't fully disagree with me, he doesn't really take a stance and says politics don't matter, but to me they do. I'm also not religious, as also that difference has been tough as well. Our love languages are entirely different and we have different libidos. I asked him when we first started dating if this would be an issue and he said no, but if I don't have sex with him he pouts and acts angry and pathetic and it is draining to be around. He says he thinks he is getting better, but it really affects me emotionally when he acts that way and makes me not want to be near him. We talked about what it would look like if we had kids, and unbeknownst to me he is not fully for vaccines. He says that he is not against all of them, but I am fully for vaccinating my children and am not going to wait until I have a child to see if he agrees with me on the matter. He also is not a fan of public schooling. I see nothing wrong with that, especially since I am going for my master's in secondary education. He is also a very jealous person. When I went to lunch and caught up with an old friend, male, that I've known since we were kids, he said that was cheating. He also came back from a work trip and said that something felt off and that's why he was upset. The only thing that I did while he was gone was work, go to the gym, and take care of our pets. He finally agreed to go to therapy with me, but I'm honestly just not sure if this will work out. Not sure if anyone has any advice for being with someone that seems so incompatible to yourself and how that situation unfolded. I would definitely have to move back in with my parents whilst in school and finding a new job after, so the pressure is definitely on. I'm also have trouble seeing if I think I want this to work out or if it will be better to start over on my own. I was honest about this in therapy, but I'm just at a loss here. Why do you want to save this? You're both young. Make a clean break, for his sake and yours. People say politics don't matter just means they are privileged enough to where it doesn't adversely affect them. You both have vastly different morals and values. I'm not sure how you can build a life with someone who wants to live life opposite of how you do. He doesn't believe in public school. So when you have kids, he will be expecting you to homeschool. Because a conservative Christian man surely will not be quitting his job to homeschool while you work. If you stay with him, you'll be either arguing or giving in to him for the rest of your life. That's not happy nor healthy. Just break up. You ignored a parade of red flags. But now you see them, and you shouldn't ignore them. You aren't a match. He's controlling and jealous and abusive. Just leave and build a better life. In the future, do not ignore differences like this, and do not ignore bad behavior. If I don't have sex with him, he pouts and acts angry and pathetic, and it is draining to be around. Gag me with a spoon. I'd be out of there. Sorry, but no amount of therapy can fix him. You perfectly describe my worst nightmare of men. What do you even have in common? Don't lose more time on this relationship. You are not compatible.